All right, welcome to a Friday night edition of TDS Live. It's the Tulsa pregame. As always, Seth Varnadore. Seth, I'll be candid here real quick. It just doesn't feel like a game day, and it's not just because it's a Friday night. I think the lethargicness of just being 1-9. You've already fired your coach. There's literally nothing else to play for. Is it just me, or did you you've kind of felt that this week as well?
I think it snuck up on you a little bit today, and then I didn't realize it was a 9 o'clock kick until like yesterday. That's a different animal too. Yeah, it's been kind of a low key week. I think because most of the focus is seemingly more on like who is coming in here to be the next coach rather than how are they going to finish the season. At least that's the more kind of intriguing storyline to me. So, but tonight got a little more interesting with some news here that maybe makes this game even less interesting than it would have been previously. Is Nathan frozen?
Yeah. Tweeted out Xavier Weaver not suiting up tonight for the Bulls, which really is gonna put a damper in his 1,000-yard receiving bid this year. So that
he's gonna have to go nuts next.
Stay alive.
He'll have to go nuts next week. Very program record nuts. But yeah, this puts a dent in it.
Yep.
So yeah, no Xavier Weaver, no Yusuf Terry. I don't. Lord. No Gunnar Greenwald. He did not make the trip either. Turry. I went to Charles Barkley mode real quick.
Luckily for Byron Brown, it's not like it's his first start on the road in 29-degree weather. Phew, that could have been bad.
At least a lot of the college level, but all is not lost. Okay, let me tell you why. I mean, theoretically, all is not lost. Because Tulsa's really bad at stopping the run. Now, maybe they're going to be like, you know what? Let's load up the box. Your second best receiver's out. That's a little slow.
You're starting a true freshman.
You're starting a true freshman quarterback on the road, and it's very cold. So maybe we'll just load up the box and try to stop the run game. So, you might see that. But as you see here, Tulsa's been pretty bad against the run. So 101st in the country in EPA per rush. I thought before the game when we talked about it, I would imagine that USF's going to lean on the run game anyways. Even just with a young quarterback, this would probably go another step towards that. But this is not a great Tulsa defense. But unfortunately, it's not a great USF defense either. So.
Yeah, well, we've got that going for us. Historically bad USF defense, in program history. This team will go down in history as maybe the worst defensive team. I think there was talks of 2004, 2016 was pretty bad. 21 was not great either. I think there's one other, like 13 or 14 or 12, somewhere in the Skip Holtz, Willie Taggart crossover era was also really bad. But this defense is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
If you look at these matchups, this kind of matchup from GameOnPaper.com, great resource if you're looking for kind of advanced stats. They even have it during the game, so you can kind of see where stuff's going. It's really cool. But all the major kind of things they chart: total EPA, EPA per play, EPA per game, success rate, starting field position. Starting field position is the best thing defensively, and that's 115th. Everything else is 128, 129. There's 131 teams in FBS football. So not last, but pretty close in every single category on defense.
It hasn't been pretty, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. I mean, it's just so. I feel bad for the players. Feel bad for some of the coaches who are just kind of playing out the string, so to speak. And you're just kind of in this no man's land of I'm probably not going to be here next year, but I've got to pretend to care.
Well,
for
I
the
mean,
end of the year.
if the next coach comes in and watches the film, you'll want to put stuff on film. So, but who knows? Maybe the next one won't come. Maybe the next one won't watch the film when he comes in. But it seems like a poor precedent.
Seth, why would anyone not watch the film before they got a head coaching job?
It would seem like a poor precedent to follow.
It really would.
So, these guys are playing for. The guys that are here are playing for. Everything's on film, right? You'll get somewhat of a fresh start with a new coaching staff, but not totally. Like, people are going to watch and see what's going on. You'll get, if these guys do fancy themselves as portal candidates, probably want to put some good games on film. So,
right,
there's reasons to play. I think, the motivation. What's the interesting part is the motivation on the other side. Might be even worse. It seems like Montgomery's kind of losing that team a little bit. This team, the way they played last week, they came out, played hard all game, kind of slipped away from the second half, but they played hard for their coaches. I think they like Sims, they like Trickett, they like the Prado. So I think they're going to play hard. On the other side of the ball, the way Tulsa's been playing the last few weeks, it seems like they're really pulling the Band-Aid off here and want to be done with the season. Now, we thought the same about Tulane last year. That did not go so well. So we'll see.
But if we're being honest, Tulsa has had spurts of this kind of. Hey, Liv, you want to say hi? You want to say hi to the fans? Hi. Oh, wait, can you say thank you for donating?
Thank you for donating.
Olivia's.
What was the final tally?
$805.
What did she get for that? What was the prize of that level?
There wasn't. So it was. I think $150. You got to be a coach for a day for your class. So she hit that. $250 was lunch with the mascot Hootie.
Oh,
$500 was a slime party.
I saw that one.
And then $1,500 was an Oculus. That just seemed a little out of reach.
Yeah. How about a little in between?
I mean, halfway. And so it was between Olivia's class and this other class. And the way USF fans showed up, I just as an aside, this was the best part of my week, if I'm being totally honest. The way that a bunch of USF fans. Oh, is this your medal from the turkey trot? So this is the medal she got from the turkey trot today.
Let's go. So, hold on. Let's go full. Let's put that up again. Let's go full on that. We'll full.
There it is. She got a medal for the turkey trot.
Big win. Who says USF doesn't win trophies?
Exactly. Big trophy winners over here. Super proud of her. Again, thank you to everybody who donated. Seth, I saw you. I think you were one of the first ones who donated. Oh man, you got a bunch of stuff. You were the first ones to donate, kind of kick it off, and the first 2 hours when I sent it out, we had $135. We're like, oh man, this is awesome. And then a day and a half later, we were at 500, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. And then
it blew up.
There's someone who donated $150. Someone donated 125. Y'all really showed up, and it's always fun when fun things like that happen. But yeah, again, just thank you to everybody. It was pretty remarkable. Her class for sure won. I think Olivia by herself was the second highest donator. If she was a class by herself, she'd be number 2. So it was pretty awesome.
There you go. Big week in the Bond household.
It really was. It's just nice to win one.
little Kevin.
Look, man, it's just nice to win one.
No, Hector's got. This is true. I don't think we've seen Olivia on a pregame show this year.
I don't think so either.
So I mean, she might become the third member of this crew here if they win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
she probably watches more of the games than Steve does.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not there forcing Steve to watch it. While on the other hand, I force Olivia to watch it. So we've got that.
What do you think? I think we do see some funky stuff. Trickett's been breaking out interesting stuff all year. Temple game had some stuff, so I think we do see some, especially with a young quarterback. Might be easier to get him some, you know, make some big plays that you don't need him to be super involved. So I definitely think that's a possibility.
Right. I think we see a lot more Wildcat tonight, a lot more jet action. That'd be a pretty safe assumption, right? Let Byram get into the flow of things.
Yeah.
I will say it's going to be interesting to see what Trickett does on the first couple of plays. Does he play it safe because he's got the true freshman on the road? Or, you know, like when Gary went out, Trey's first throw was a pass, or the first play was a pass. So I feel like Trickett's he really gives a no F's given kind of vibe, and I think he's going to do that, and he may sling it around the first possession or so, just to see what he's got. And Byram Wella game still up for grabs.
We talked at the top about Weaver, Terry, and Greenwald being out. So that will probably factor in, but you know, a little play action shot to Jimmy Horn over the top is never a bad call to me. What do you got to lose at this point? You know, be aggressive, and I think he has been. So like, Trickett's definitely not a guy I'm worried about.
No. Absolutely not. And as we mentioned in the podcast this week, geez, I'm like you, man. Podcast.
I know
this week.
The Barkley's creeping in, both of them.
Jeez,
Yusuf Turi. Podcast.
Brian Batiste, 127 yards away from 1,000 yards. I think he'd be the sixth all time at USF to cross the 1,000-yard plateau. Last done by Jordan Cronkite in 2018. That'd be a pretty impressive feat for a guy who was supposed to split snaps with like three other guys this season.
Yeah, coming into the season, he was probably the third guy in most people's eyes, and seemingly in the coaching staff's eyes as well. But you know, this is one spot where there's been a lot of bad injury luck. This is almost, and you don't want anybody to be injured, obviously, but this has almost been kind of good injury luck to where it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise. So you get him more touches, and he's just since that Florida game, I think is kind of the first game he really got a ton of the touches. He's just delivered every game since then. So
and not just the coaches overlooking him. I mean, you and Steeg both overlooked him in our fantasy draft this year. I think he was a second-round pick.
That's true. Well, I mean,
you snaked back around and you took Kelly Joyner Jr.
I took Jimmy Horn first. So I took Horn with my first non-quarterback pick. Yeah, which that's not a bad pick. It's a pretty good pick, but
he's no 1,000-yard runner.
No, the injuries were not a blessing in disguise for my fantasy team. They've been quite a curse. I've actually I may have negative yards from the running back or negative points from the running back position this season, which if you play fantasy football, you don't want to have negative points for the whole season from your running back. So
yeah, that's a tough beat, and
it's a tough look.
2/3 of our quarterbacks that we drafted have decided to transfer out. As Steeg's beloved Jordan Smith decided to transfer out, or at least put his name in the portal.
And the one we didn't draft got a broken neck.
The other one broke his shoulder. I mean, ugh.
It's been a tough year, but you know what? Like,
it's been a real tough year.
What's interesting is Will we score more points than Temp at kickoff?
No.
I think it's going to be close. That's
Okay.
a good over under. I think if they
The-
do, they win.
Yeah, the over under I think is like at 57-ish. I think
And I think the team
news.
total is 24 for USF.
Yeah.
Or 23 and a half.
I've got a buddy at work who is big into it, and he'll do like one game a night. So like Tuesday through Friday, he'll kind of ask me, okay, I'm watching Maction. Who should I look at? And he saw this game tonight, and he was like, oh, I'm banging the under. And I was like, yeah, true freshman quarterback on the road, and it's gonna be like 28 degrees. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm banging the under. And then as the Weaver news came out, I texted him as we were going live, and I said, the best receivers out, really bang the under. I don't think USF scores more than 17 points tonight. I don't see it happening. Like it's really tough to win on the road with a true freshman quarterback with one of your best playmakers not playing.
Yeah, no, it's going to be difficult, but this, I think, how could you get there? Tulsa's bad on defense, and then Davis Brin, if he is playing, I think he's healthy again. So I think he's playing. In the past, he's shown the propensity to turn the ball over. So if he gives you a couple short fields, that's how you can kind of stack up those points. You're going to need turnovers defensively. I mean, that's kind of cliche, but when your defense is really poor and struggles this much, I mean, I don't think there's been a punt force for a game and a half or something to that effect. So probably a turnover is going to be the only stops you get, it seems like. So hope for some turnovers. This is what's interesting is kind of these kind of games where we talked about the motivation. Both these teams are not having the years they imagined. They're both down. One team has a coach fired. One team has a coach on the hot seat. Sometimes going on the road can be galvanizing a little bit. And playing in weird elements, weird conditions, weird night of the week. Sometimes that stuff can kind of be galvanizing, and maybe they go in there and pull off a big upset, get a nice win, and that'll be a great highlight for the year. But it does not seem likely, at least according to the odds makers.
And our eyes also.
Yes.
It's super unfortunate. I had such high hopes for this season. I think in the off season, I think I went on WDAE in the off season. I think it was right before Gary transferred to Tampa. And I was like, this is a win now move. Like they think they're going to go 6-6. Screw it. I think they go 6-6 this year. And then Puka Nacua took it was the 75-yard touchdown. He took that to the house, plus all of my hopes and aspirations for whatever the season could be with him. So that was super unfortunate to be out of the game, be out of the season about 8 seconds into the season, which is all impressive in some respects, if we're going to be honest. Yeah,
the efficiency was impressive.
I mean, do you want to bleed out, or do you want to, do you just want to over?
Let's go, yeah.
Like I don't want to. Yeah, it's like, would you rather drown or be killed instantly? I think I would rather just be killed instantly, hit by a train, or have a last gasp.
You'd rather do like
the water.
You'd rather face like a firing squad than like a crucifixion. Right.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fun at all.
We don't need to. Yeah, you don't need that kind of long-term agony.
No.
But it's. And I'm sure we'll talk about this more as the season. We're still in season, so I'm sure we'll talk about it more after the season.
Allegedly.
But it was a really bizarre year. And there was some bad luck, but it's kind of weird. You feel like there's definitely some bad luck here. Some weird stuff happened. But you also don't think, I don't think anybody thinks that the firing was uncalled for, right? It was just a really bizarre case of a bunch of bad luck, but you're 3 years into this thing. You should be better by now, even with bad luck. But there was definitely, and we still see it now. You're going on the road. Maybe you got a chance. You're young. You have to start. You're down to your what's really like in the summer would have been your fourth quarterback. You're
Yeah.
down to your fourth quarterback, and now you're missing your two of your top receivers on the road in his first start ever. Oh, by the way, it's very cold. Good luck. So, not a lot of breaks going this way, but that's got to turn eventually, right?
I would assume so, right? I mean, you can't be terrible forever.
And
I mean, I guess you technically could. So let's see. I'm looking at our season previews, and this is what I said. I felt pretty good. I still feel pretty good about it. The Bulls half and have is in capitalized letters there to win at least 4 games in 2022. Anything less, and the seat under Scott's bum gets toasty. Well, it blew up. It's the seed is gone. 5 wins was semi-realistic if you squint your eyes and tilt your head. 6 wins was a pipe dream. So from May to once we got into fall camp, my thoughts about this team really kind of sank. But Seth, you were kind of over 4.5.
I thought they could get to 5 just because I thought in year 3 you should be beating Temple, you should be beating Tulsa, you should be very competitive with ECU, and you should be beating Howard. And then I thought Tulane might be a toss-up based on how they played last year, but they took a jump. USF did not.
They did a different jump. They did a real different jump
off a plank.
It hasn't been fun. I sent out a tweet in August, and it caused a lot of fervor, a lot of consternation. People were very pissed at me when I said, "Look at the schedule. It is very realistic. They are 1-6 before the bye." Seth, what was USF before the bye?
I believe they were 1-6.
They were 1-6.
Yeah. So, and I don't think any of us thought they would hit a bowl game this year, just because the schedule out of conference.
This was the year.
I thought they could push 5. If you are at the level you should be at in year 3 in a school located in Tampa with a quarterback that was pretty good, you think 5 is in play.
It's so mind-numbingly blowing to me that you have a top 50 offense per SP plus.
That was
and you win 1 game.
We were right on there. We thought the offense could be pretty good,
and the defense just had to be not bad.
The offense is above average. Well,
not historic. You didn't even have to be You didn't have to be bad. Just don't be abysmally poor, like an abomination. And yet they're like, you know
90s.
what? Hold my beer.
In the 90s. If you could just be below average.
If they're in the 90s, they win 4 games. They have 4 wins already, and we're thinking, you know what? There's an outside shot at 6.
Yeah. So
you've got a better defense, and you beat Florida. That Florida team was terrible.
Florida turned it over twice. You had a chance at the end, and you just kind of gave it away. That's a game you
gacked it away.
You caught them, you had them, and you just couldn't finish it.
You didn't know what to do with it. The Cincinnati game was very winnable. Mm-hmm. Frankly, the ECU game was winnable early on, and they couldn't stop a nosebleed. The Temple game, it's just on and on and on. It was literally
the games we talked about before there, and this Tulsa game coming up here in. Oh, I guess we have this. It doesn't kick off till 9:10, so we've got
we got a few more minutes.
So this Tulsa game coming up was one we thought before the year. Hey, if this is a team that's making progress, this is a winnable game. I didn't care if it was at Tulsa. They lost a ton. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost some really good players. This is a winnable game, and now you're at the point where you come into the game and you're a 14-point underdog. Oof, woof.
This man. I don't know. As we get prepped here, I want to ask you one question, Seth. How many Christmas trees are up in your house right now?
Oh, that's a question. Do you count like of any kind? Of any
kind.
kind? Okay,
You would
so
you know what your Christmas trees are designated as.
let me think. At least 6. No, maybe 8. Yeah, I think
Is the
maybe 8.
main Christmas tree up?
It is, and you know what? Don't tell my wife. I've told her. It's a little. We got a new one. It's a little thin. I need a thicker Christmas tree. I think so.
Okay.
We may have to add another one to the rotation. We moved into a new house. The ceilings are a little lower, so we couldn't bust out our previous one. So we're going to a backup. We see how that is. Having to go to the backups. The depth is not as good as I thought in the off season.
You talked it up. You had multiple. You had multiple trees.
I said, you know what? This is the first time since I've been here in this marriage that we've got enough trees that it looks like a real Christmas house. A real Christmas family here.
Like if you didn't know any better, you thought it was a tree farm, but a lot of Charlie Browns out there, a lot of Charlie Brown Christmas trees out there, and it was kind of shocking.
Yeah, but we've got, I think we've got, I'd say 8, possibly 10, depending on. We have some like some like wooden trees that are like made out of wood that are smaller, so it could be pushing 10. But we'll probably have more. We really get cranked up after Thanksgiving, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came home on Wednesday with the Christmas tree out and up, the holiday decor. Samantha went to Big Lots and got some of those Christmas tree like pine smellers, and she stuck them into the tree. So when I walked in the house, it instantly smelled like Christmas, which I thought was a fantastic addition. That was a nice addition to the rotation. She did say as she was putting the scents in that she may be allergic to them. There was like a rash on her hand. That's probably just Big Lots stuff.
Classic Big Lots rash.
Yeah, you hate it, but you got to live for it. We've got our plaid Christmas tablecloth out, some Christmas stuff. The Christmas blankets are out in the living room. We are ready. We are prepared, and that is all that matters.
Yeah, we started. So we started. So we do extended seasons here in the house. So on July 5th, it became Halloween. That's when Halloween started, and then like 2 weeks before Halloween, my wife made sure to tell me, now listen, I'm gonna need you to stay longer on November 1st. I need you to come home on your lunch break and stay long here, because I'm like, oh my Lord, like we're already planning to just getting the Christmas tree out for November 1st 3 weeks in advance. Okay, and so we did, and now it really starts getting untracked here next week. So.
Excited for it.
Well, we're digits.
That's beautiful. I looked at one more update. $830. So since we've been talking, she's made another $25. I mean, this girl is a money making machine. If USF needs donor help, you know where to look.
There you go.
We get the donors activated around here. All it takes is a cute kid.
There you go.
I mean, if we learned anything from Newsies, it's cute kids can sell you papers, they can get donations.
That's true.
So there you go. We've got about 6 minutes before kickoff. We're going to get wrapped up here so we can get set up for the game. Seth, are you going to stick with your prediction? You picked 38-28 Tulsa. You've got the news that Xavier Weaver's not playing. You've got the news.
Let's drop it to 31-21. Let's take some points off the board here.
So what did you say?
Let's drop it to 31-21 here.
31-21 Tulsa.
Let's take some points off the board there.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go, 34-21 rather. 34-21.
34-21. Liv, real quick for the fans, do you think USF wins tonight?
Yes.
You heard it here first, folks. She said yes. So if they don't lose, it's because of her. But if they do lose, it's also because of her. So be mindful of that. I'm going to stick with my 38-17 prediction. I had already accounted for just badness in the in the general vicinity of Tulsa at USF. So there we go. Yeah, Olivia, I'll mark her down as a win for USF. We'll update you guys on the podcast things as we get deeper into the abyss. But man, last road game. Let's have some fun.
Can't hold anything back.
Well, you see it now. That's the Berman. Is that the Berman bit from Waterboy?
Dan Fouts. Yeah.
Dan
Fouts.
Fouts.
Last game of the year. Can't hold anything back.
He says like 8 times in that.
Yes. Because they didn't hold anything back. That's his last line.
Fantastic stuff. All right. We will be back here at halftime to recap the first half, talk about storyline, see if Olivia's trending in the right direction. But other catch on Twitter. I'll be live tweeting the game at StampedeSPN. Again, that's at Stampede SBN. Follow at Seth Varnadore at Bulls Nathan SBN. We'll be back here at halftime. Go Bulls, ESPN2 in like 4 minutes. Let's go.
Go Bulls.